please introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Santiago. I'm a PhD student at the Technical University of Munich. Around my third year, I'm working with Professor Anna Koine at the Professorship for Learning Sciences and Educational Design Technologies.
Who are your DCs and what do they do?
So within the use case that we're working with, which is the educational use case, we have one DC in our lab, which is Xiaoyu Wang. She will be working in the design of tangible tools for educational use of value-aligned AI. So we have had some previous work done with AI ethics literacies, and she will be building on this work to design the next iteration of tangible tools that now will work with what we understand within this consortium as value-aligned AI. What
motivated you to become involved with the alignAI project?
Well, as I mentioned before, I used to be, the project is still ongoing, which is the AI ethics literacy project. It has a longer name, co-designing risk assessment dashboard for blah, 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 which is also part of the IEAI kind of institute. And so for this project that got funded before ChatGPT was released, we initially were creating a dashboard for risk assessment of different AI tools. We were making essentially a long list of different AIs that were out there. And then ChatGPT got released in 2022 and kind of changed everything also in the aims of the project. And we switched to creating tools that would help educators and learners learn about AI ethics literacy. We thought AI ethics literacy would be a good and productive way for young people to make decisions that were critically evaluated about how and whether to use AI tools within educational contexts. So at the time we were thinking, everybody's talking about cheating as a complicated issue with AI and whether or not young people were learning when using these tools. So we designed a set of initially scenarios, and then the next iteration were activities targeted towards young people mostly that would engage with AI tools and learn about AI ethics within the framework of the OECD principles. Then we found that the most productive way to work with AI literacy, at least from our perspective from the learning sciences, was with tangible and art-based environments and tools. So we designed some activities that focus on how to learn AI ethics with tangible tools. And now this is kind of the next stage of that, so that's why.
Okay, so you've been in this field basically for a while now, and this is a continuation of what you've been previously working on.
Exactly.
Nice, nice. What unique perspective or expertise does your group or institution bring to the alignAI network?
Well, it's very, very specific, which is, for us, it's the educational use case, and we are specialists within the learning sciences. So we are trying to bring not only thinking about what is value-aligned AI, but then how do you translate it to this complicated context of educational environments? What is the role of value-aligned AI when we are teaching K-12 young people about AI? What are those specific considerations? How do you design for them? When you have a legal framework for understanding what is AI, you understand AI in a certain way. But then when you apply it to educational context, when we're thinking about AI for young people, what do they want to learn or need to learn to use this in this digital society is different. So we specialize in this, in empirically testing how is it that young people can learn about values in AI.
How do you balance guiding the overall research direction while allowing DCs the freedom to explore their own ideas?
Well, I haven't finished my dissertation yet.
So you're still in a... Okay.
Yes, but I am a bit in like the mentoring role. And I think within our professorship and our team, there's a lot of spaces for freedom. There's specific goals that the project needs to have, for example, the design of tangible tools, but that can be anything. So we're hoping that our DC takes what we have used and then kind of turn it into her own project, that she can design tools that are meaningful to her and that she considers with empirical data based evidence. What is it that young people actually need to learn and how to learn it best. And for that, she will engage in, whatever she thinks is the most important aspects of this. So there's a lot of leeway for her to like take her own approaches, and she has a design background, so she'll be able to really kind of dive in deep into how to design these tools.
How do you envision the educational use case contributing to the practical outcomes of this project?
Well, from my understanding of this project, there's a lot of open questions about frameworks and understanding of what it means to have value-aligned AI. And I think we bring in two considerations. One is, what are the differences between having these abstract concepts of, what are values of fairness, what are values of explainability out there in like governance and policy, and we kind of ground them into what does it actually mean to have young people learn about them, or what does it mean to have them in an educational context. It's not the same thing to talk about fairness in a broad understanding and then to talk about fairness within learning. So we're doing a bit of a meta thing where we say, okay, first we want to define what does this value means in educational contexts, and then how to teach them. So how young people can learn about these abstract concepts grounded there. So these are the two considerations. So first, really thinking what are the values that we agree like within this consortium in an educational context, and then how to design for young people to learn them.
Okay. What message would you want to share with those outside of academia who are concerned about the future of AI?
It's a good question, but I think our perspective is very straightforward. We live in a society that is so digital right now, and technologies are not only kind of isolated in different places, like we have smartwatches like tracking our vitals, we have our phones tracking everything we do everywhere, and they're very useful tools and are necessary tools for today's like 21st century skills. Like we need them in our everyday. But what maybe you and I did not have 10 years ago was a lot of education on how to navigate this digital environment, like really having formation on how to best approach this. So I think what people outside of this academic role can attest to, but like need to know, is that we really need to design for young people to learn how to navigate these environments, for them to be ready on how to use AI, but also how to evaluate whether it's being fair, whether it's being transparent, whether it's being explainable. And this is what is really important, that we really design for young people to learn how to use these tools.
Yeah, it's essential, because to do it in a young age is more impactful than to do it just after that, and for them to have better understanding of it and to live with it basically is really essential, I would say.
Which doesn't mean that what we will try to find out within this project is not applicable for those that are older as well, right? But rather we are targeting young people to, as citizens of this 21st digital century digital environment, are really able to make decisions for themselves and like really look at an AI and see like, okay, it's being biased and I know why, right? Or it's not being transparent and this could be problematic, right? We're not saying don't use it because it's unbiased. No, like it's just an inherent thing of the technology.
Just understanding the risks basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. If alignAI is successful, what changes would you like to see in the broader AI ecosystem over the next decade?
I think there's a couple things from an idealistic perspective and then a realistic perspective. Lots of guidelines have been developed, right? We had this conversation within this summer school where we're saying like, well, hundreds of frameworks have been developed to say what are the problems with AI and what are the things that should be working with AI. I think this project wants to really think, when we go into the practice of mental health, of news consumption, of education, these are the specific considerations and this is how we address them. And some of the outcomes are also designing AIs that are value aligned, right? So we will have empirical evidence where we tested this with people. We will have LLMs that are also hopefully value aligned, and if not, we can say why. And so in the next decade, thanks to what this project will have brought to the table, we have not only idealistic ideas of what are the values of AI, but also empirically based and tested answers.
Okay. Thank you very much for these insights and for your time. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you.